Well, you've had a bonjour, your school and homework is done. Now it's time for beaucoup de fun. Godard and Revette, chebrawling romance. C'est très magnifique when all your friends are all here. We adore French New Wave until adieux need be bid. Bienvenue to les enfants. It's Truffaut for Kids.
Oh, hello. I was just watching one of my favorite Francois Truffaut films, The 400 Blows. Is The 400 Blows one of your favorite films? It is. Yeah, I guess that was a silly question. Of course it is. Every kid likes The 400 Blows by Francois Truffaut. It is one of the defining films of French New Wave, after all. Not to mention, it also has powerful themes that resonate with all children. Themes like the need to belong, forgiveness, love, and, was there one more? Oh yeah, childhood. How could I forget that one? But maybe you're one of the very few children who isn't familiar with all of Francois Truffaut's oeuvre. Let me guess. You overheard your friends on the playground talking about Francois Truffaut, and now you want to watch all his classic films so you can join in the conversation too. But you don't know where to start. Well, then you're in the right place. That's why I created this video series. I wanted children to have a space where they could have an educational and open discussion about Francois Truffaut and his contribution to the French art film movement that emerged in the late 1950s. Because let's face it, being a kid is already hard enough. We all know that feeling when you're between the ages of 4 and 7 years old and you start thinking to yourself, hey, I'm ready to turn off these mind-numbing YouTube channels for kids and turn on some French New Wave. It's that special age when you say to yourself, I'm done with cartoons. I want to go to a modern art museum. It's that age when you're no longer entertained by birthday party clowns because you now yearn for the plays of Samuel Beckett. It's that age when you're ready to stop finding Nemo and start waiting for Godot. We've all been there. It's a special time in every child's life. So what do you say? Now that we're all here, should we get to know Truffaut? I wonder who that could be. It's my neighbor Riley. Hi Riley.
Hi Colin, how are you?
I'm good. I was just watching The 400 Blows with my new friends.
That's a great Truffaut film. My young children especially love it.
Obviously.
My children love the semi-autobiographical nature of the film and how it reflects events from Truffaut's actual childhood. Which reminds me, I wanted to return your copy of Truffaut's Shoot the Piano Player that my children borrowed.
Did they enjoy it?
They did! They particularly loved Raoul Coutard's grainy and kinetic style of cinematography and how it reflected the emotional state of the characters.
Raoul Coutard's cinematography is excellent. He was also the cinematographer on Jean-Luc Godard's French New Wave classic, Breathless.
Yes, I remember my 6-year-old twins mentioned that to me. Before I go, do you have another Truffaut film my children might enjoy?
Of course! What kind of film are they in the mood for?
They said they're in the mood for a film that's tragic, yet poetic. A film that shows the joys of life, but also doesn't shy away from the sorrow and unhappiness. They also want interesting character study.
A film that's tragic, yet poetic, joyous, but also shows pain and suffering, and is a character study. Do you know what Truffaut film we should recommend? That's a great idea. We'll ask DVD Player. Hey, DVD Player, do you know what Truffaut film we should recommend?
I think you should recommend Jules and Jim. It's one of Truffaut's best loved and most seminal works. Not to mention, I think Catherine is one of the most interesting character studies in the cinematic history.
Jules and Jim is perfect. Thanks, DVD Player. Here you go, Riley. We decided on Jules and Jim.
Thank you. Being a parent of 4 children all under the age of 10 is tough, especially now during quarantine, where I have to spend practically every moment with my kids. The only peace and quiet I get is that hour and a half to 2 hours while my children are in the living room, captivated by a Truffaut film.
Well, young kids do like Truffaut, as well as the French New Wave movement in general.
You can say that again. Bye!
Bye! Great job, gang! I really think Riley's kids are gonna like Jules and Jim. By the way, what's your favorite Truffaut film? Is it The 400 Blows, Shoot the Piano Player, Jules and Jim, or The Soft Skin? I totally agree! The 400 Blows is my favorite too. Shoot the Piano Player and Jules and Jim are tied for second, and then you're right. The Soft Skin is the last visceral and spontaneous film Truffaut ever made, but it's not quite as good as The 400 Blows, Shoot the Piano Player, or Jules and Jim. Wow, we really are on the same page when it comes to Truffaut. Hey, that got me thinking. Francois Truffaut sure has made a lot of great films. And they're just as powerful today as they were when he made them in the late 1950s and early 60s. Now, why do you think that is? How come the films of Francois Truffaut still resonate with audiences young and old over half a century after they were made?
Well, I think it's because Truffaut was a film critic before he was a filmmaker. He was a student and lover of film himself, which came across in his work.
Interesting theory, DVD player.
No way. It's the combination of realism and subjectivity in his films.
Huh. Story by Robert McKee makes a good point too.
Well, I think it's the personal nature of his films and his belief that every detail of a film's style must reflect the director's sensibility as intimately as a novelist's prose.
What do you know, Aki Kaurismäki box set? You're just a collection of minimalistic Finnish films.
Yeah, how would you know about French New Wave?
Okay, let's not argue. I'm sure we can figure it out together. What do you think we should do? How are we going to figure out why Truffaut's films still resonate with audiences today? Great idea! We'll call our friend Zahoots, tenured professor of cinema studies and film history at NYU. He'll know the answer.
Hello? Colin?
My friends and I have a question. Why is it that Truffaut's films still resonate with audiences today, over 60 years after they were made?
I wish I could help you, but I just bumped my head and my memory's all fuzzy. I was trying to reach my copy of Hitchcock Truffaut, Francois Truffaut's book of interviews with Alfred Hitchcock, but it was so high up on my bookshelf I had to stand on a chair to reach it. I almost had it, but then I slipped and fell and bumped my head. It really hurts. Oh, but what's worse, I have to teach a class on French cinema in half an hour, and I can't remember any of the defining principles of French New Wave. What am I gonna do?
Oh no! What should we do? Do you think we can help Professor Zahoots remember the defining principles of French New Wave? Do you know what they are? You do!
French New Wave was a reaction against the commercial film production of the time. It uses new approaches to visual style, editing, and narrative. De-emphasis of plot. Handheld cameras on location shooting. Use of direct sound and available light. And the director as an auteur.
That's right! Great job! Professor Zahoots, did you get all that?
I did, thank you. Now I remember. All my knowledge of French New Wave is coming back to me.
Now can you tell us why Truffaut's films have an enduring quality and still resonate with audiences generation after generation?
Sure thing. The reason is because there's so much humanity in the films of Truffaut. The object of filmmaking for Truffaut is to convey human emotion. Trends and styles in filmmaking may come and go, but human emotion and the quest to understand our own humanity, those are timeless.
Thanks, Professor Zahoots. Have a good class.
I will. Bye.
Bye. Wow, I'm so glad we were able to help out Professor Zahoots. Oh wow, another guest at the front door. Who is it?
Mail carrier Lou.
It's Mail Carrier Lou. I wonder what mail they have for us today. Hi, mail carrier Lou.
Hey, Colin, how's quarantine treating you?
Pretty good. I was just watching The 400 Blows and discussing Truffaut's career and legacy with my new friends.
Yeah, well, The 400 Blows is an excellent film, revolutionary in filmmaking.
Yes, the film was a great success. And Truffaut received many accolades and awards for The 400 Blows, which, by the way, still holds a 100% fresh rating on Rotten Tomatoes.
Yeah, and now I will say, with all of Truffaut's success and accolades, he did receive some criticism.
What do you mean?
Well, some might argue that despite leading this revolutionary new movement in cinema, Truffaut became the type of filmmaker he originally fought against. Like his earlier films, we got The 400 Blows, Shoot the Piano Player, Jules and Jim. They have the energy and the passion and drive of a young filmmaker ready to fight the constraints. But later in his career, he got a little comfortable, and some would say he stopped fighting the status quo.
What about Day for Night and The Last Metro? I mean, those are good films. Day for Night won the Oscar for Best Foreign Film. And The Last Metro, it was nominated for Best Foreign Film and it won 12 Caesars.
Oh, sure. Now, I would say those are fine films, but like a lot of films, later in his career, they were just approachable and charming, like light and fluffy. And some would even say that they're produced Oscar bait, which is precisely what Truffaut did not want when he started his career in filmmaking.
Okay, mail carrier Lou, can I just get my mail?
Okay, here you go. And I just gotta say that for somebody who proclaimed that the new French cinema was going to be more personal than an autobiography, like a diary or a confession, I just think it's kind of strange that all of a sudden he became so mainstream and just forgot all of the ideals he started off.
Okay, bye mail carrier Lou.
Bye, Colin.
Sorry about that, kids. I don't really know what happened there. Anyway, we got some mail. Shall we see what's inside? Okay. Dear Colin, my name is Desmond and I'm 8 years old. I love Francois Truffaut and I think it's cool he was a pioneer in the French New Wave movement and that his success allowed other experimental French New Wave filmmakers to reach wider audiences. You know what? I think that's pretty cool too, Desmond. Let's see what's in this next letter. Dear Colin, my name is Alice, and I am 5 years old. All my friends like to watch toy unboxing videos on YouTube or other YouTube channels for kids like Masha and the Bear, Toy Pudding TV, and Rad Dad. But I think that stuff is all mindless garbage. I like the films of Truffaut much better. I agree, Alice. Truffaut's films are more challenging, and therefore more rewarding than all those mindless YouTube channels for children. Hey, we got one more letter. Dear Colin, who is this show for? Do you really think that children like the films of Francois Truffaut or French New Wave in general? What world do you live in? It's pretty obvious you do not have children. And the painfully off-base premise of this show leads me to believe you also do not know any children. You're just another culture snob from a big cosmopolitan city and think that your interest in Truffaut films actually makes you interesting. Anyone who has ever met a child would know that what they really enjoy watching are the bold and dynamic films of Akira Kurosawa, Quinn, age 6. Okay, you know what? That's just your opinion, Quinn. I mean, I like the films of Kurosawa as well. They're not mutually exclusive. You can like Truffaut and Kurosawa. You know what? That might be a topic for another time. And speaking of, I think we're just about out of time. We sure did learn a lot about Truffaut today, and I can't wait to talk about the cinematic legend with you again soon. Maybe next time we can discuss the concept of le camera stylo, which of course refers to the way a French New Wave director used their camera the same way a writer uses a pen. Or maybe we could talk about some of our other favorite French New Wave directors. Are there any other French New Wave directors you like? What about Jean-Luc Godard, Jacques Rivette, Claude Chabrol, or Michel Foucault? Okay, you're right. Michel Foucault was not a French New Wave filmmaker. They were a French philosopher and social theorist. Oh, you're so smart. Well, I'm gonna finish watching the 400 Blows. So until next time, bye!
Well, we had a bonjour, the lesson is done, and you know we had beaucoup de fun. The film is through, now it's time for bed. Dreams of French New Wave all in your heads. I like Truffaut, Godard, Chabrol and Romain. And as I continue, you know they're getting sweeter. Va de René, Demi Rosier, Marlon Franjoul, need I continue? Now, one last thing before we shut our eyelids. We'll see you next time on Truffaut For Kids. Yeah, we'll see you next time on Truffaut For Kids. Yeah, we'll see you next time on Truffaut For Kids. Yeah, we'll see you.
That's all I got.